Tell me about you. What's your name? What year are you? Where are you from?
My name is Liam O'Kane. I'm a freshman year student from Kirkland, Washington.
Okay. So what are your initial thoughts about the food at TCU? What do you like? What do you dislike?
To start, I was very underwhelmed. I mean, coming to such a great school, I was kind of expecting some, high quality food and stuff. And we do have, good options like Union Grounds and, Blue Two's really good. But the Blue itself, not too fond of that. Had a couple, instances of food poisoning, and I'm not a huge fan of the food that they serve there too, so a little rough.
That leads me to my next question. Do you have any stories about the Blue finding anything in your food or getting sick or any of your friends getting sick?
Don't eat the pork. That'd be my advice. Ate a little too much pork there, and I had a really bad stomach ache for 3 days. So avoid that at all cost. I have had some very undercooked chicken while also having some very undercooked chicken at the same time. So there's a very broad spectrum of issues that I've had with the Blue.
Have you heard anything about the new dining hall that they're building?
I have not. I know it's on the other side of campus, but I'm not too familiar with what it's actually going to be.
So it's supposed to be like the Blue or Market Square, where you can swipe in. It'll be unlimited once you're in. But are you expecting them to level anything up, food wise?
Yeah, leveling up the food would definitely be. They should put that on their list. I would say that if they are intending to kind of match a similar vibe to the Blue and provide the same food, I don't think that's a very good idea, just because there's so many, criticisms of the Blue now. I think just kind of doing too much, but yeah.
Does the food in the Blue ever get repetitive? Do they serve the same things? Do you have a favorite thing they serve?
Oh yeah, it does get very repetitive in my opinion. I think that especially depending on what time you go there, there's some things that are always there, and then some things that will be there for an hour and then they'll be gone. And it's usually the good things. I like the Euro bar, I really like Euros, but yeah, I remember one time I was had a super long day and I went there around 7 and there's no options. So it's kind of there's very specific time periods where if you don't go then you're kind of stranded for the rest of the day,
Okay.
So.
Okay. What are your thoughts on the King Family Commons and the food options there?
I'm a huge fan of the King Family Commons. O'Brien's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I really like that. I'm a huge breakfast guy, so again, O'Brien's, the eggs. My favorite's the sausage tacos, which are really good. I've been to Magnolia's a couple times. That's pretty good. Caliente a couple times. Caliente pasta on Sundays, kind of a, not tradition, but not ritual either. What's the word? It's kind of part of my routine. So.
Okay. What do you think they do better than the Blue?
I just think the quality of food is a lot higher there than the Blue. I think the Blue is again, it's just cafeteria food, but then I feel it's the level above cafeteria foods, fast food, and that's pretty much what I think King Family Commons is. There's a lot more options, and everything just seems more more well put together, I'd say, than the Blue.
Do you think focusing on one specific kind of area instead of trying to cover all the bases like the Blue does helps with the quality of the food?
100%. I have a couple friends who go to other schools, and their restaurant options are very they're scattered around campus, and they each kind of have their specialty with different types of cuisine, stuff like that. And I think it just provides a better, experience for the people that are paying to come here. I mean, we pay a lot of money to go here, and I think that the food just doesn't kind of reflect, you always hear about how great this school is and stuff, and the food's a little underwhelming. So I definitely think that.
Compared to your friends who go to different schools, do you hear more criticisms than here, or do you hear more criticisms about the food here?
A lot more criticisms here. I mean, they have all these big chain restaurants, which I understand is it's hard to do, especially with all the franchise and stuff that kind of goes into that. But I think that honestly, if we just expand kind of the different just rework our structure for how we choose different food options here, and then kind of how we're serving, and then where we're getting the food to actually serve the students would be huge.
What are your thoughts on the campus cash and the frog book system at TCU?
I think the idea itself is very good. I think the execution of it could, be reworked. I do think 100 frog bucks for an entire semester is a little underwhelming. I think that, there's a lot of great restaurants around here, like Dave's Hot Chicken, the Euro to Go place. I love Euros again. That's one of my go-to. Buffalo Bros too. I think there's like a lot of good chains around here, and I would definitely like to see more Frog Bucks, in the future. I mean, Campus Cash is really good too. I really like using those at like Shake Smart, Chick-fil-A, all those ones. But I do think that in comparison, I think we do need to kind of rework how much of each that we are getting.
So what do you prefer? Like, what do you prefer to use? The Frog Bucks over the Campus Cash? Just because there's more variety.
I would say Frog Bucks over Campus Cash, and that is again just because there's less Frog Bucks, so they do seem a little more not exclusive, just kind of like I like using them more because it's like you actually get to go get food instead of just you're not limited to the places on campus, So I would definitely say Frog Bucks are my preferred method of.
Okay. So what do you think about the policy that you can't reload Frog Bucks until your Campus Cash is gone, even though they give you much more Campus Cash on a meal plan?
I'm not a huge fan of that. I do think that's very limiting, I think that, I feel like everyone knows that Frog Bucks are better than Campus Cash, and I think kind of limiting, I think it's kind of like a profit over taking care of your students kind of deal. You make more money off the Campus Cash, but then you're not going to, there's not really like an incentive to use all your Campus Cash other than just to reload your Frog Bucks, which I think is a little skewed, so.
Do you think that you should be able to add Frog Bucks? Like, you have to pay for the Frog Bucks, obviously, but do you think you should be able to add them whenever you want?
Oh, 100%. I think if you're paying for the Frog Bucks, you should be able to pay for whatever you want. I think limiting what you can pay for is just kind of too many restrictions.
Frog Bucks are also a way for parents to help out their kids at school, and not being able to help provide them with the extra Frog Bucks until they're out of Campus Cash can be pretty limiting.
Oh, it's extremely limiting. I 100% agree with that statement. I think that at the end of the day, we're the ones paying for the Frog Bucks, so why are we being limited to where we can spend our money? I think that's a little messed up.
So the reason why I kind of chose this topic for my thing is I found a article/survey on the best college foods in Texas, best dining hall and dining options, and TCU is ranked 41st in Texas for this survey, and this is despite being the third most expensive school in Texas.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that?
I'm not surprised. I do think our food here is not the greatest, so take notes. I do think that, again, it is very underwhelming. Considering how much money people spend to attend, such a great school, and then our food options, being ranked 41st is not something to brag about, you know what I mean?
41st in Texas.
41st in Texas, too, yeah. Is that, considered, community colleges and stuff like that,
It has smaller universities, too, but the fact that they're falling behind these two.
That is true. I do think it's, especially for how much we're paying, we should be getting not only more options but higher quality food. I think that's just it's like a living standard almost. It means to survive. So
So North Texas was ranked number 1 in this survey. They have 40,000 students compared to TCU's 12,000, and their most expensive dining hall or meal plan for a freshman is $1,000 a semester compared to TCU's $3,000 a semester. But I think it was about half of North Texas's population gets a meal plan. So 20,000 students paying $1,000. It's pretty close to TCU's 12 paying $3,000. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think TCU's not allocating money in the
100%.
right way?
Yeah, if they can do it, honestly, I think we can do it. There was a huge, controversy hearing about how much money that we do have saved up, and especially the increase in tuition. I think we definitely have the resources to improve our meal plans and kind of the quality of food on campus. I think we're just not, kind of taking the time to actually, figure out a solution or, come up with, a resolution to everyone's different or varying opinions on what needs to be done about our, meal plans.
So SMU and Rice are the two schools that cost more than TCU in Texas, and they're both within the top 25 in this ranking, Rice being number 2 on this list with a similar school population size, and same with SMU. Does that bother you?
Definitely. Again, it kind of goes back to the point. You're seeing schools with, varying levels of, populations, education rankings, stuff like that, and seeing that, people on all, kind of degrees of the spectrum are seen to, achieve good rankings in their food, and we're kind of falling behind. So I think it is a little frustrating seeing, schools that, I mean, SMU is pretty like comparable to, TCU, and I think seeing them be very successful in, I guess, giving their students food that they like and stuff like that is very, very frustrating.
So what are the biggest things you changed about TCU, Daniel?
I would definitely say reworking our meal plan system. I do think the meal swipe to dollar ratio is a little skewed. I especially think that, I mean, if you want to go to Chick-fil-A on meal swipes, it's, a good 2-3 swipes for like a single meal, which, especially if you're going like at the start of the week, it does tend to, catch up to you by the end of the week. I like what you mentioned earlier about the Blue trying to cover all, bases of, foods. I think if we need to like stick to specific cuisines and stuff like that to kind of like specialize in those things, and they kind of like, I think if we do that, it'll like gradually increase our like food rating. And I would say maybe add more locations to get food too. I mean, like there's like certain spots on campus where you can get food, but it's like there's like little hot spots, and then like if you're, in certain areas, it's like, I mean, it's kind of a far walk, so I'm not like going to do that.
Even with like the addition of a third dining hall, do you think that's gonna like cut down on like wait times? Because I know you can be like waiting for food at certain places for.
I mean, aren't they adding the new
half an hour?
They're adding the new like dining room where they're adding the new residence hall too, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're adding another place and expecting to cut down wait times while also adding a residence hall right next to it, you're just making the problem bigger, in my opinion. Like, I mean, unless you have a way to actually like allocate those people or like incentivize them to go to different parts on campus and get different food, I mean, you're just gonna end up with the same problem.
Yeah. So after a full year of eating the Blue, do you feel like what do you feel like has happened? Do you feel like you're getting enough nutrients from all this food? Do you feel like you have to supplement it with other options?
I would definitely say you have to supplement with other options. I think if you are planning to only get the meal plan, you are going to find yourself hungry on some days, honestly. I mean, like I have a bunch of snacks up in my room, and I am like, a bigger dude, but at the same time, like, I think that food here is, I mean, the meal plans are just not very well organized in a way where it's, you have the meal plan, but then you also kind of have to allocate some of your own money to go, buy food by yourself, and like I eat out a lot too, and I haven't gone to Blue like at all this semester because that's how much I dislike the Blue. Like I only went during the first semester, and I kind of just like learned how to manage my swipes in a way where I don't have to eat that. I can just go to other places. So
yeah. So is there anything else that I haven't brought up or haven't said that you would like to bring up?
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.